Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back. Give yourself a hand. Like to welcome y'all to the NKOSI channel, the third eye open. The NKOSI channel, third eye open. Ah, man. Hope everybody got some good night's sleep. Woke up in good, positive vibes. Woke up feeling great. Ah, man, today is Sunday. And getting started a little late, but it's all good. It's all good. Ah, man. And I'm surprised we didn't get any questions or responses. I guess people are actually coming to listen now and to learn, and that's a good thing. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. But with that being said, to those that's never been here is a message just for you. No matter what you're going through in life, no matter how hard or rough it may get, never give up. Because if you stay focused and you stay down, the creator of the universe will meet you right where you are at and help you make some sense out of what's going on. All right? Here's another message. It's called Manifest the Life That You Want. And you are looking at a person who actually did it. Everything you're looking at right now, I manifested this very life because I believed it in here, and I seen it right here in my pineal gland, which we call the third eye. Third eye. Some people call it the eye of God, or the eye of Ra, or the all-seeing eye, because God sees all. Keep that in mind. You can manifest the very life that you want to live. And to those that's new, check it out. Why don't you come on and join the family? Won't you
subscribe, like, share?
Hit the notification bell. Stay in contact with us so you can find out every time we dropping something hot. And believe me, we always dropping something hot. And yo, go on our website. Go on our website. Check out our apparel, our clothes, our shoes, our mugs, all kinds of things, man. Come on up there. Check out the stuff that we have. And link is in the description below, man. Go up there and check it out. And maybe you just want to show some love. If you want to show some love, that's what we put the cash out there just for you to do that. And y'all know me, man. Like I said, we're getting started a little late. Today I'm having some iced tea. What you know about that? Got me some good old iced tea. Yeah, some good old iced tea. What you know about that? All right. Oh, man. And today we are going to be reading out of the second college edition New World's Dictionary of the American Language Special School Printing Webster's Edition. All the definitions will be coming from here. Okay. We also going to be reading out of your King James Bible. We also going to be coming out of this, the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. All right. And last but not least, we are going to be coming out of your Sifa, okay? And we got some work to put in today. And we are making good time. Today is Sunday. This is Sunday. It is 20 minutes after the hour. It is 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Sunday the 21st. It is Sunday the 21st, 21 minutes after the hour. That's 2:21 p.m. And without further ado, let's go to work. All right, first we're coming from the book of Jasher. We're going to be reading in the book of Jasher. Hope you people got your reading material. Hope you're familiar with it as we getting ready to go to work. This is the book of Jasher, the 14th chapter, starting at the 27th verse. This is the book of Jasher, 14th chapter, the 27th verse, and this is what it reads. And the king answered and said to Rikayan, That's R-A-Q, that's R-I-Q-A-Y-O-N, Rikayon. And the king answered and said to Rikayon, your name shall no more be called Rikayon, but Pharaoh shall be your name. Since you did exact a tax from the dead, and he called his name Pharaoh. 28th verse, this is Jasher 14 and 28. And the king and his subjects loved Rikayon for his wisdom, and they consulted with all the inhabitants of Mizraim. Mizraim is Egypt, if y'all don't know that, or Kemet, to make him prefect under the king. And all the inhabitants of Mizraim and its wise men did so. And it was made a law in Mizraim, 30th verse, and they made Rikayon, Pharaoh, prefect under Osiris, king of Mitzrayim. And Rikayon, Pharaoh, governed over Mitzrayim, daily administering justice to the whole city. But Osiris, the king, would judge people of the land one day in the year when he went out to make his appearance. Now, what I want y'all to do is, I want you to focus on the word Rikayon, R-I-Q-A-Y-O-N. That's Rikayon, or Rikion. Rikayon, R-I-Q-A-Y-O-N. Now, if you were to look this word up, Rikayon, let me give you the backdrop of this story. Well, you're not going to find a pharaoh named Rikayon. And the reason you're not going to find a pharaoh named Rikayon, that's the whole meaning of this teaching today, okay? But in the book of Jasher, there was this man who was poor, who was a peasant. Poor, I'm sorry, peasant, however you want to say it. He was in poverty, okay? His name was Rikayon. And if you know the story in the book of Jasher, this man, he tried to sell vegetables. Got robbed out of doing selling vegetables. He couldn't make any money. He was poor. He only wanted to learn to mingle in Egypt, to get known and get some money in Egypt. That was his whole theme. That was his whole scheme. And when he tried to sell vegetables, it wouldn't work. He got robbed. He came up with another scheme. His scheme was to hire some men who had weapons. That's what he did. And what he did is he took those men that had weapons and positioned them right where people would bury their dead. And he wouldn't let them bury their dead until they came with a certain amount of money. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 200 pieces of silver or something like that. It was a certain amount of money, okay? You can read that story in Jasher, the book of Jasher, the 14th chapter. Read it for yourself. Well, once he did that, listen, I want you to pay attention. Once he did that, he got all this fame, all this money, and all this popularity. Because the king at that time, listen. The king or the pharaoh at that time, which he wasn't called a pharaoh, he was just called a king at that time. Right? Listen. The king at that time was called Osiris. The story going to make sense in a few minutes. Now, who was Osiris? Well, if you go back and you check all of the ancient history of ancient Kemet or Egypt, only thing they'll ever say about Osiris is Osiris was the very first, the very first pharaoh or the very first king of ancient Egypt. Right. Now, who is Osiris? You find out the story of Osiris. Osiris and Set was brothers. Set killed his brother. Who was Osiris? Chopped him up in pieces. Y'all know the story. And Isis, his wife, or Aset, came back, put them back together, right? Remembered him, put them back together, right? And Osiris became what you call what? The Lord or the God of the what? The dead. Right. Now let's go back to the story in Jasher, the 14th chapter. This guy named Rikayon, who was a poor man, who came into Egypt, he wasn't from Egypt, who hired some men, because he tried to sell vegetables, it didn't work, he got robbed. So he had to hire some men who had power, who had weapons, and positioned them right where you would bury your dead. See, Osiris, the god of the dead, and this man named Rikayon charged people, what? To bury their dead. So, because the king or Osiris only came out once a year to see the people. Watch. So, when Osiris came out and seen this man, the people was going off, telling Osiris, hey, man, what is this going on? You charging people to bury their dead? This is never heard of. Oh no, Osiris was angry and said, who told you? Who was doing this? And then they told him about this man named Rikayon. And when they brought the man Rikayon to him, listen, they found out that he was wise. And then he sent the people to Osiris in a certain way. He sent some men first with gold. He sent men riding horses. Then he sent men as servants and slaves, all to Osiris, all in the name of Osiris. And Osiris was like, oh, wow. And from then, Osiris changed his name from Rikayon to Pharaoh. And this is where the term Pharaoh come from. Now, with that being said, I just want you to see the story. Osiris is the Lord of the dead, and here's a man named Rikayon who was poor, who wasn't from Egypt, but came into Egypt with a scheme to get money. So he started charging people to bury their dead. Now, keep in mind, this Rikayon fella, the way, and listen, to anybody that's watching anything that I'm talking about, the key to everything that I'm going to be saying from now on, if you need to understand how we're preaching or what we're talking about, and you need to understand, you need to look up a video that we have called Hieroglyphics, Dr. Neanderthal James Spoke the King's Language, and it will explain to you what we're doing. I explained to y'all in my last teaching when I said that I told y'all the creator of the universe is here. I told you in this video, they used this thing when they translated the Bible in this thing called parallelism. Parallelism means they'll make the story where it can be comprehended, or it can be done in a way to make the story not comprehensible, or make the story difficult to understand. They'll use certain things and they'll change it purposely. Now, listen to me. This Rikayon was not from Egypt. He was in poverty. His scheme was to get money. But when these people, these Anglo-Saxon, these troglodytes, these Neanderthals, these Caucasoids, these Caucasians, when they retranslated this book, I told you what they'll use is parallelism, and they'll always try to interject themselves somewhere in history, because their history starts out with them being in caves. Those are facts. Now that you're understanding what Rikayon means, somebody had to put this Rikayon fella with Osiris so he can interject himself into this history. It's going to make sense in a few minutes. Okay. So that was the book of Jasher, the 14th chapter, 27th verse through the 30th verse. Okay, that was book of Jasher, the 14th chapter, 27th verse through the 30th verse. And we're going to look for, give me 1 minute here. We're going to look for the meaning of this word called Rikayon. So like I said, you will not find a pharaoh named Rikayon. But let me show you something right quick. Okay. Now what I want you to see is this here. Like I said, you will not find a pharaoh named Rikayon. You will not. What you will find is, listen and look at the screen. I want to show you a picture of who they call Rikayon, which they're using the last part of his name, which is the Q-A-Y-O-N, which is Kayon, because the Q makes the same sound as the Kayon. So here, notice there's no pictures. And that, even that, is done for a reason. Keep in mind, in the book of Jasher, this Raikayan isn't from Egypt. Keep in mind, this Raikayan was in poverty. Right. Here is a picture of who they call Raikayan or Kayan. That's the end of his name. Notice it's only some legs. There's no facial features for that person. Right. And it says, this is the remains of a statue of the 12th dynasty reappropriated by Hyksos, there go that word again, Hyksos ruler Kayan with his cartouche. See, a cartouche is just a spelling of a name in a circle, right? But no face. They can't show no facial features, and they're not going to. They can't. That's why that specific picture looked like that. But let's just read what it says. This is Suzerain Ray Kayan, also Kayan or Kian, was a Hyksos king of the 15th dynasty. Where they're talking about a Hyksos king of the 15th dynasty, and I'm guaranteeing this is not him. Just listen. Was a Hyksos king of the 15th dynasty of Egypt, ruling over Lower Egypt in the second half of the 17th century BCE. His royal name was Suzerain Ray, translate as the one whom Ray has caused to be strong. Kayan bears the titles of an Egyptian king, watch this, but also the title ruler of foreign land. Heka means magic, if y'all didn't know that, but it says Heka Keset. The latter title is the typical designation of the Hyksos rulers, which they probably came up with that themselves. But let's keep reading. Kayan is one of the better attested kings from the Hyksos period, known from many seals and seal impressions. You're only going to see them from seals and seals impressions, which mean cartouches and writings, not no actual monolithic structures of them. Listen, keep in mind the Hyksos were invaders, just like this Raikayan. Listen, Kayan is one of the better attested kings from the Hyksos period, known from many seals and seal impressions. Remarkable are objects with his name found at Knossos and Hattusha, indicating diplomatic contacts with Crete and Hittites. A sphinx with his name was brought on the art market at Baghdad and might demonstrate diplomatic contacts to Babylon in an example of Egypt, Mesopotamia relationships. So when we was reading about this Kayan or this Raikian, only thing we that stood out was Hyksos, which means they was foreign invaders. They didn't belong there. That goes with the story because it said Raikian wasn't from there. He was poor, came to get money. And a word that stood out, it says demonstrates diplomatic contacts to Babylon and Egypt, Mesopotamia. Babylon and Mesopotamia stood out in this name of Kayan, okay? So, with that being said, what I want to do is take you here. And we got the word Kayan. The meaning of Kayan, listen. Kayan, often spelled K-A-Y-H-A-N. K-A-Y-H-A-N. That's the end of Raikayan. Listen. Is a Persian name. Listen. Persian name meaning universe. Pay attention, y'all. Meaning universe, cosmos, or king of the world. So this Raikayan, this fella is considered, his name means king of the world. Watch this. Stemming from the ancient Avestan words for royal/king. K means, or Kai means royal. And world, or royal, Kai means royal/or king. That's what Kai means, K-A-Y, okay. And world is Han, Kayan, or Han, Kaihan. World means, Han means world or /universe. Symbolizing vastness, royalty, and divine wisdom. Popular in Iran and Persian cultures. Keep in mind, these names stood out in the word Kayan that we just looked up. It was Babylon and Mesopotamia. Here we looked up the word Kayan, and what stood out was a word called Persian. Okay? And the word Kayan means universal, cosmos, or king of the world. Okay? Now, making sure I got everything in that. All right. Okay. So in the word Kion, it stood out the word universe, cosmos, king of the world. And it's from Persian. It's a Persian name. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go to the dictionary. Let's look up the word cosmos. The word cosmos. And the word cosmos, this is what we got. Cosmos equal Greek, which means cosmikos. Cosmikos equals cosmos equals universe. Okay, look at this. So the cosmos means universe, the same as the word kayan. Listen, world, the same as the word kayan. Order and a form meaning world, exclusive of the earth, and cosmology. And cosmology is the study of the whole world, if y'all didn't know that. Cosmology is the study or philosophy and science that deals with the universe and its form and nature, etc., as a physical system. Listen. This Rakian fella, his name is Kayan, which means universe. It means king of the universe. Then we go to king of the universe and cosmos. We look up the word cosmos. Cosmos equals Greek, means the word cosmikos equals cosmos, which equals the universe, the world. Order, a form meaning world, exclusive of the earth, and cosmology. And cosmology is the study of the universe, if y'all don't know that, is the study or philosophy and science that deals with the universe and its form and nature, etc., as a physical system. So this man, Raikayan, named Kayan, means the king of the universe. Well, let's not forget all the things we learned. In the first meaning of the word Raikion, right? We came to, let's take you back one more time. Let's see. We came to the word Kayan. In the word Kayan, we got the word Babylonia, and we got the word Mesopotamia. Then we looked at the word Kayan, we got the word king of the universe, and also, because the universe means the cosmos, Kayan is a Persian word. So we keep getting Babylon, Mesopotamia, and Persian, and the king of the universe. And these things should make you go, why are we getting those things? Well, let's look up. Let's look up what they call Shinar. And the word Shinar, listen. Shinar, yes, it is a biblical land. Is the biblical land of Shinar is essentially Babylon, Babylonia. Okay, that makes sense. So Babylonia, the region where the city of Babylon and the Tower of Babel were located. Okay, encompassing southern Mesopotamia. So every time you see Babylon or Shinar, you're going to see Mesopotamia. Between the Tigris and the Euphrates River, it's used in the Old Testament as a geographical name for this area, particularly associated with Nimrod's kingdom. Well, we ain't here to talk about Nimrod today. We're trying to run down this guy named Rakayan. Okay, let's see. Location, drop down the location. The plain of Shinar is identified as the region of southern Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, where major cities like Babylon, Erech, Uruk, Akkad, Agad were situated. Okay. biblical significance at the very bottom. It says the name consistently refers to this area, often contrasted with God's people, representing paganism, pride, and rebellion, but also a place from which God's people would be rescued. Now, and they're talking about Babylon. Well, I thought God's people were supposed to be rescued from Egypt, not Babylon. Unless they're trying to make it like today is modern day Babylon, and you're going to be rescued from here. And that's neither here nor there. Let's pay attention. Let's stay on track. So, Babylon, Mesopotamia, modern day Iraq, Uruk, Akkad. This is all situated around Babylon, and it's known for paganism, pride, rebellion, a place where God's people are supposed to be rescued from. Okay. All right. So let's see. Because it said Babylon and Mesopotamia, we had that. Okay. So it says Babylon was not originally in Persia, but was conquered by the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. We can find that story in your Bible too. Becoming a crucial part of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, serving as a significant administrative center and royal residence through its latter saw rebellions and eventually declined under the subsequent rulers, including Alexander the Great. So Babylon was not originally in Persia, but was conquered by the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. So Persia was a part of Babylon's empire too. Okay, so that's why we keep seeing Babylon, Persia, Mesopotamia, right? So let's go see. Let me just look up Persia by itself. Look up Persia by itself. This is what we have. Persia is the historical name for the region and empire centered in modern-day Iran. Iran, Iraq, they right there beside each other. All right. A country in Western Asia with its ancient heart in the Fars province. The name Persia comes from Persis. Persis or Parsa. Well, let's look up the word. Let's look up the word Persis. Persis, the word Persis, also called Persia proper, is a historical region in southwestern Iran, roughly corresponding with Fars province Iranian-speaking peoples, also known as Iranic-speaking peoples, are thought to have initially migrated either from Central Asia or more properly from the north through the Caucasus, giving rise to the ethnic group later known as the Persians. They would then have migrated meaning they wouldn't belong anywhere, migrated to the current region of Persis in the early first millennium. So Persis, which is from Persia, it says, are thought to have initially migrated either from Central Asia or more properly from the north through the Caucasus. For y'all who don't know what the Caucasus means, let's go back. Let's go back and look this up. The Caucasus. Look at the screen. Caucasus or Caucasia is a region spanning Eastern Europe and Western Asia. It is situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, comprising parts of the southern Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, the Caucasus Mountains, including the Greater Caucasus Range, have conventionally been considered as a natural barrier between Europe and Asia, bisecting the Eurasian landmass. Mount Elbrus, Europe's highest mountain, is situated in the Western Caucasus area of Russia. On the southern side, the Lesser Caucasus includes the Javakheti Plateau and the Armenian highlands. Sound like these is talking about some Caucasians. Now, that's exactly what it's talking about. Let's go back to the word Persia. Persia is the historical name for the region and empire centered in modern-day Iran, a country in Western Asia with its ancient heart in the Fars province. The name Persia comes from Persis, and we just looked up Persis. That took us to Caucasus, and Caucasus took us to the Caucasus Mountains from the word Caucasians. These are white people. A region in southern Iran, and was used by Westerners for centuries before the country officially adopted its indigenous name, Iran, meaning land of the Aryans. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? I'm going to let y'all pay attention to that. Its indigenous name, Iran, meaning land of the Aryans. The Aryans. Oh yeah, them white people came through there. I know y'all like, what all this got to do with Raikayan? Be patient, young grasshopper. Be patient, young grasshopper. You're going to learn something over here. Third Eye Open. Welcome to the NKOSI channel, Third Eye Open, where we actually learn over here. Now, with that being said, all right, I want to take you to Genesis. Let me give you a wrap up real quick so you can see where we're going. We started out reading on a man named Raikayan, who was not from Kemet or ancient Egypt, and he was in poverty. And his whole scheme was to come over there and get money. And if you knew how these Europeans, these Caucasians, these Anglo-Saxons, these troglodytes, these Neanderthals translated the Bible using parallelism, interjecting themselves into history because their history started in caves. Right. They got to interject themselves somewhere to give it some validity. So here, when they got to the book of Jasher, they took it all the way back to Osiris. Because Osiris is known as the very first king of Egypt. But they're telling you that the word Pharaoh came from this Raikayan fella. Right. So when we looked up the word Kayan, it gave us king of the universe, Babylon, Mesopotamia, Persia, these kind of words. Okay? So we went through all of those places and we see where it all stems from. And that brings us to now what we want to call the book of Genesis. All right, I am reading Genesis, the 26th chapter, what we call the book of Bereshit, and I'm reading from the Sefer. This is Genesis, the 26th chapter, verses 3 through 4, and this is what I have. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the 7 oaths, which I swore unto Abraham your father. And I will make your seed to multiply as the stars. And when it says stars, that can mean the cosmos or the universe, stars of heaven. And I will give unto your seed all these countries, the countries that deal with the earth. And in your seed shall all the nations give unto your seeds all these countries, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. I need to read that one more time. This is Genesis or Bereshit, the 26th chapter, starting at the 3rd verse. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries. And I will perform, I skipped something, let's go back. This is the book of Bereshit, the 26th chapter, and the 3rd verse. It says, sojourn in this land, and I will be with you, and I will bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries. And I will perform the 7 oaths, which I swore unto Abraham your father, and I will make your seed to multiply as the stars of heaven. Stars of heaven deal with the cosmos. Listen. Stars of heaven. And I will give unto your seed all these countries. The countries deal with the earth. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth, there it goes, be blessed. Now, this is talking about somebody named Abram. Okay? Well, right here, now, with that being said, this is talking about Abraham being the king of the universe. You can't prove that. Well, if you read in the scripture, it says God told Abraham that he would make his name like make his descendants like the stars in the sky. That deals with the cosmos. Or make his descendants like the sand of the sea. That's the earth. That deals with the cosmos, the universe. What you getting ready to find out something that's going to blow your mind. And maybe it might not. My listeners over here know we dig deep. We dig deep. That was in Genesis, the 26th chapter, verses 3 through 4. And we're reading from what you call the Sefer. Now what I want to do, I want to point your attention over here to, let's go to the Quran. Let's read what the Quran says. Listen. In the Quran, the prophet Ibrahim, which is Abraham or Abram, originated from a land of idolaters. Listen, in Mesopotamia, y'all remember that came up with Raikayan or Kayan? Mesopotamia, often associated with Babylon, that came up, right? Then they say modern day Iraq, where his father was an idol sculptor. In the Bible, his father's name is Terah. Over here, his father's name is Azar, A-Z-A-R. Terah, Azar. You get it? Where his father was an idol sculptor. He later journeyed to Canaan. Listen. Established the Kaaba in Mecca. This is them pushing their agenda. We're not going with that. But it says, with his son Ishmael becoming a revered ancestor in Islam. Listen, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. We ain't interested in none of that. We're interested in the truth. Watch this. Drop down. It says, Abraham, right? His birthplace, he was born in a city known for idol worship, often identified as Ur of the Chaldees or ancient Babylon, Iraq. All right. Let's drop down. Now it says significance. Listen. Maybe I'll tell you how they do parallelism. Listen, it says significance. This is how they look and view him in the Quran, they say. Significance. He is revered as a monotheist, meaning a person that serves one God. This is why they push the Allah, watch. Who submitted to the one God. Well, we believe in one God too. Listen. Okay, you staying with me? The Lord of the universe. They got the word universe. So they can mix you up. It's parallelism. Listen. Because that ain't what it means. And is a pivotal figure in Islamic history and faith. All right? So that's how they view him. What we seen was idolaters, Mesopotamia, Babylon, right? Right. And idol worship. That's what we seen. Now, Where do we go from there? Let me take you to Abraham. This is the definition for Abraham. This is out of the Strong Concordance. And this is the word Abram, which goes into the word Abraham. From one, an unused root to be populous, father, which would be like the king of, like they say, how we read in Kayan, king. Father of a multitude, which is like the universe. The latter name of Abram, Ab, like Abba, like Ab, father, in a literal, listen, in a literal or figurative sense, patrimony, which is like the patriarchs, as in patriarchs corresponding to father. The father is the king. So you read all that to say what to us? That Kai, K-A-Y, is king. Kai, K, king. Yan, Kai, Yan. Yan is universe. Put it together, Kai and Yang is king of the universe, father of many nations, which is Abraham. And they came out of what we call the land of the Aryans. That's why you will not find Raikayan as his name written there, like it's written in the Sifar in the book of Jasher. You won't find Raikayan. You won't find the name Raikayan. You will only find, let's go back. You will find Susarin Ray Kayan. Susarin Ray Kayan. And even when you look at the picture of Kayan, you won't see no face, because this Raikayan in the book of Jasher, when they get to your Bible, this is who your Abraham is. I know y'all mad about that, but this is who your Abraham is. Abraham came from Babylon, Mesopotamia, Persia, and all those areas, and they was idolaters. That's who they were. So y'all trying to stick with this pushing of the Hebrews and the 12 tribes. Listen, man, I know y'all angry, but let me just drop it on you. Abraham wasn't no Hebrew. He wasn't from any tribe. These people was Aryans, Caucasoids, Neanderthal. These people was thieves. These people was unlearned. So by the time they got hold of your Bible and start translating it, these people, they interjected themselves somewhere in. This is why the story goes back up to Raikayan dealing with Osiris. Osiris is the first known pharaoh of Egypt. Now here goes a guy who ain't from Egypt, who was poor, came in there with a scheme to get money. This is the story of Abraham, which they made Abraham the king of the universe. How you know that? That's why when you speak of Abram or Abraham, that's why they gave him the name, the father of many nations. This is why they use the ideology that his seed would be like the stars in the sky, or his seeds would be like the sands of the sea. That deals with the cosmos, king of the universe, father of many nations. But what they didn't tell you is he was a Caucasoid. He was from the land of the Aryans. He was from Babylon, Mesopotamia. They was into idolatry. These are these people. This is who these people are. So when you look at the picture of not Raikayan, Kayan, and the real name is Susarin Ray Kayan, Susarin Ray Kayan, which is the Raikayan from the book of Jasher, the 14th chapter, 27th verse, and the 27th through the 30th verse. You don't have a picture of him there, because they didn't have things like that. They probably wrote some cartouches later, but no actual real pictures of these folks. These folks were cave dwellers. You just read that. The Caucasoids, they came from all those mountains through Persia and all that. They came from the land of the Aryans, which came from what they call Persis. This deal with the Caucasus, which is the Caucasus Mountains, which deal with Caucasians, the Caucasoids. These are the foreigners that came in with the Hyksos. Susarin Ray, Kion, also Kion or Keon, was a Hyksos king. I don't have to go into any more of that. But this is who they're making your Abraham in the Bible. Whew. Hey, man. With that being said, I hope I said something, man, to spark a flame in you, make you want to go pick up these books and learn all that you can learn. Hey, man, listen, get the wisdom, get knowledge, get an understanding. Hey, and until next time, I will catch you.